Hi, thank you for watching this video. I'll be talking about work experience today as that's a big part of your application to vet school, and I know applying to vet school is a very difficult process, so I thought I'd share some of my experience on it and I hope it'll help you out. So it was a little bit different for me. I didn't start early and I only started the bulk of my work experience when I was in my Ayesha year in college, which is a big mistake. Always start early. So in the end I completed around 20 weeks, which was 5 days in a week, that's how I counted it, and it was 15.75 weeks according to Liverpool's work experience questionnaire, and that was mostly done in a space of a year, so in my Ayesha year. So a huge tip from me would be to have these little notepads like these, and which you can write what you've learned in your work experience in them, or what you've seen. And this is especially helpful when it comes to you writing your personal statement, or in your interview when you have to talk about what you've done or what you've seen in your work experience. I would also add to have something like a tracking sheet for all the dates you've done and where you've done it. But each uni is different, so make sure you check on the website to see what the number of weeks of work experience they require. There's also this really helpful guide, work experience guide on the student room, which I'll link in the description box below, which has basically all you need to know when doing your work experience. And also in terms of finding what type, I would say try and find a variety of work experience, so don't just go to one place all the time, because what they're looking for in your application is variety, and they want to see that you've seen a load of different experiences. So in terms of vet work experience, I would say get a mixture of small and large animal, or mixed if you can't find any large vets out there. This is also what unis require most of, so try and get as much vet experience if you can. In terms of farm experience, I would say try and get cattle, dairy and sheep, and pig farms if you can find any. But if you're like me, who couldn't actually find any farms to go to, I kind of went to petting farms. And make sure you do come in contact with farm animals and you're not just caring for, say, rabbits and guinea pigs in there. And also try and ask a farm sanctuary if you can't find any commercial farms around you as well. Also, if you're having trouble finding farm work experience, try and ask around, because you'd be surprised to know somebody that your parent knows or your parent's colleagues who know farmers. So try asking around, that's usually really helpful. And I think lambing experience is a good idea, but I don't think it's absolutely necessary to have it. So don't be too worried if you can't find lambing experience yet. Try and find experience at stables, so places like a riding school, a livery yard, or charity. And again, if it's far away, try and find somewhere nearer to you, or if it's economically viable, try and stay near the place. But usually it's not as hard to find, in my opinion. So you'd probably want to find work experience at places with cats and dogs as well. So you could go, say, RSPCA, charities, try and find that. But you probably don't need masses of experience in those. I think it's more important getting experience with vets and farms. It'll also be what the vet schools require when you apply. So in terms of the extras, as I would call it, would be zoos, abattoirs, aquariums, pet shops, and other animal related places. Try and find mainly vets, like I said, and farms first before trying to find other stuff like zoos and aquariums and stuff like that. Some problems you might run into might be age, especially at vets, when they don't accept people like under the age of 18 or 16 or something. And I would say A, try and pester them. And sometimes if you apply with school, they're more likely to accept you. Or B, you can try and move on and try contacting some other vet places. And maybe you could also try contacting vets, say, that you usually go to if you have pets. Sometimes they are more lenient, but you've just got to ask around really and keep finding. So keep emailing and calling up, and I'm sure you'll find one, like I did. If it's too far, try looking for nearer ones, and also think about, is it actually that far? Can I get there with public transport, or can I try and get a lift? And if it's no to both of those, then obviously don't go, but just try and think about how you can get there, you know. If you think that there's just none around you, just keep looking until you find it. I'm sure you'll find somewhere, like unexpectedly. You will if you just keep looking. And if there actually really isn't any, then A, sacrifice a bit of holiday time, try and stay near there, like I said. Or you could explain to the university your situation, and maybe they'll understand. So some general advice: be respectful, obviously, and around everyone. Just make sure you don't butt into conversations during consult, and only ask questions when you feel like the time is right, so maybe like at an end of one. And probably you could try and ask the vet if it's okay to ask some questions whilst like in the consult when they aren't talking. So just make sure the vet's okay with it. So be grateful the place has accepted you for work experience there, and I mean, don't cause any unnecessary trouble for them. But you might be there for free, but they're there for work, so just try and understand their situation compared to yours. Try and help out as much as possible and be independent and assertive, so try and ask for work if there's nothing to do, and that makes you look like you want to be there, like instead of just standing in the corner and not doing anything and not saying anything. Write thank you cards or say a word of thanks before you go, and this is just out of kindness really, but most importantly, ask for a reference. Save yourself the stress. I mean, I applied to the University of Surrey this year, and they wanted like references from the places I've been recently, and I haven't asked before, so I was in a rush trying to call up every place that I've been to try and get the references for me. So save yourself stress and ask for one before you go. And that's also because they'll remember you better if you just are just leaving, compared to if you ask them for a reference like, I don't know, 3 months after. So I hope this video was useful to you. I know it's a bit brief, but you can check out the one on the student room if you want a more detailed version basically. But that was just some of my advice. And if you've got any questions, please comment down below and I'll try to answer them. And thanks for watching.